Sam is really worried about when he will be intimate with Citra, when he really should be getting things in order in case he has to leave his fiance that has just got here from Indonesia because he may have to go to jail. Yeah, that was a mouthful, so let's get into this mess. Guys, welcome to Nikki Faces Reality. I'm Nikki. If you clicked on this, you're here for Citra and Sam and their latest episode on season 10 of 90 Day Fiance. Thank you so much for the love on the last video. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm really proud of this channel. I just really appreciate you guys. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, I post recaps and commentary on all things 90 Day Fiance. If that sounds like a cup of tea, do hit the subscribe button. Let's get into the episode. On the way from their airport, they're heading to Sam's house, and Citra is slowly realizing that, this looks eerily familiar. So apparently our girl Citra is a huge fan of horror films, except now she's in America where most of those horror films are based, and she's looking out from the car and she's like, this looks like a scene from the Texas Chainsaw. That is only adding to the anxiety that she's feeling because in moving with Sam, her fiance, she's also going to be living with his dad and his brother. And she's coming from a household filled with sisters. Just her dad is the guy. And she's like, it's going to get a little awkward when I get my period and experience all the girly things. And that's definitely going to take some adjustment. So she gets to the house. And to her surprise, and to my surprise as I was watching, his room is very messy. And I'm surprised because we saw him in the last episode cleaning, except it looks honestly like he picked the shirt up and instead of having it in one pile, he just moved it to another. His room was filled with clutter, and she's like, I just got here and I'm already gonna have to clean because I can't sit in this. And so he's giving her the tour and he's like, okay, so like this is my room, that's where you'll be sleeping. This is my brother's room where I'll be sleeping. And he's making a big, performance of it because she is Muslim and it's a sin for them to share a bedroom before marriage. But he was making a big deal of it, not in like a negative way. And that's one thing that I'm like, a part of me feels like Sam is going into this conversion situation blindly. But I do think his heart is in the right place. I just do think that he's not understanding fully the gravity of what it is to convert to Islam when you have no background in it. I just feel like he should be doing a little more research. But what I do respect that he is doing is that all the things that she has made clear is important to her, he's doing it. And even though they're joking around about him being just super horny and like wanting to jump her bones, he's being very respectful and not doing it. Sure, he's giving her some longing looks, but he's clearly respecting the boundary. And along the lines of respecting the ways that she lives her life, he set up a bidet because it's very important for her to always be really clean, and it's just a part of their practice, completely clean when they pray. I think they pray 5 times a day. So he had that set up for her. And with the pillow situation, I mean, it's funny because I feel like the 90-day couples all contradict themselves. Gino, who's established, who has money in the bank, is complaining about getting his fiance pillows. Meanwhile, Sam is barely holding on, living with his father, and he's like, I need to get this bidet for her. I need to get her these pillows. I need to make her comfortable. I don't know. I just feel like that counts for something. Citra meets Sam's father, and it's a little awkward, but it's cute. The dad was really sweet, and he was just like, it's gonna take some adjustment having her in the house, but I hope she'll help me cook. And I was like, so as they're going around the house and stuff, they make their way back to the room and she's unpacking her things. And the dad is still there lingering with them. And I'm like, okay. He was just idly standing by. And she's unpacking clothing for Sam that she brought from Indonesia. Clothing that she would like him to wear at the mosque. And so the dad is clearly, observing and listening to the things that she's saying about the mosque. So he's like, tell me more about this conversion. Like, what does it entail? And Sam explains that there's like a prayer that he has to say with her father at the mosque. He says that that's some sort of ceremony between them. And his dad is not all the way convinced with this information. He doesn't seem like peeved by it. He just seems cautiously supportive. But at the same time, I wouldn't read too much into it because after all, this man is an atheist and believes in aliens. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what he believes in. So there's a moment that they randomly just go to the confessional where Citra's saying that, oh, Sam is so horny, like he's constantly trying to do things. But I'm like, we didn't see any of that on camera. I mean, all that we saw was him kissing her hand, but then again, she does know him better than we do, so she probably knows how to like read between the lines with his gaze. But then in the different confessional, we see that Sam calls her out and he's like, she likes to make me the bad guy, but she's actually worse. And she like blushes and tells him to shut up. And I'm like, oh, Citra, I see you. Right there, let me know that she definitely dances on the line of what's allowed and what's not, which I think is like normal. She's a young woman and she's in love with her fiance. She only sees him like, what, 15 days out of the year. There's a little lust for sure. And she emphasizes that this is important when we see them the next morning. And she says it's very important to be apart because there's no temptation. Like, they can't even kiss. So she's like, I'm satisfied with a kiss on the cheek for now. And I'm like, wow, these two haven't even made out that we know of. I kind of would love if they went into that of what the expectations are from day to day and what the expectations are just for her as a woman and then the expectations that are set for the man. Um, I just feel like we haven't seen much curiosity from Sam, but we also haven't seen on camera any instances of Citra. Well, there's only been like 2 episodes, but just haven't seen them exchange information because about this, and it's such a huge step. It's kind of just like, this is the expectation, he needs to do it. It's hard to assume, right? We only see them for a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with converting for love. But I also am a believer of, if you're going to convert to a religion, like, you have to find what you connect to it aside from the person. There just has to be a personal connection to the higher being and to the word, and I don't know. I say all that to say I'm worried for their future if they don't really dive into that because it's important. It's really important. It's going to affect the way they live their lives. It's going to affect them when they bring children into the world. All of that is just important. And they may very well be having these conversations off camera, but this is a show about their journey. I would like to see it. Anyway, it's breakfast. They're talking about what their plan for the day is. Apparently, it's to clean his car because it's dusty and crusty. And she's like, we cannot pick up my father in that car. And she was like, my sisters, forget about it. They will drag you. And boy, were we not prepared to see the state of that car. He's been living in his car, and it shows. It was dirty. And so we see them cleaning out this car. And I have faith that there's redemption for Sam because he has a good amount of self-awareness, right? So they're cleaning the car and he's going through it and he's like, this is so nasty. I hate myself. Like, honestly, I'm afraid that you're never going to let me touch you now that you've seen that I've lived like this. She was being a pretty good sport about it. She wasn't nagging about it. She was like, we need to get this done. So they're going through the things of what to dump and what not. And she sees all this paperwork. And he's like, no, we can't throw that away. That's important. And so, important paperwork. She's like, oh, is this the paperwork for your diversion process? And he's like, oh, about that. Diversion, you say? He's like, so I haven't told you yet, but I may not get the diversion. And this girl just goes around and sits in the seat and she's like, what? What does that mean for us? Like, what does that mean? And so he comes clean and he's like, I didn't submit it when I was supposed to. So now after our wedding, I have to go to the court and they will decide if I get probation or jail time. And this girl lost all color in her face. Because what? Like, that's crazy. To get married with someone and then be like, peace out, I'm gonna be in jail for X amount of time is wild, right? Also, he never communicated that he didn't submit the paperwork. And so that was her stance. She was like, why didn't you tell me this? That's the first offense. You didn't tell me. You could have told me that before I got on a plane and left my life. Like, this is huge because you haven't told my father the truth. So his stance is, I can handle your father being mad at me. I need to know, though, if, like, you're going to love me through that. And I think, and you guys can tell me in the comments what you think, that was selfish. I understand why he did it. He loves her, and he was like, I don't want to risk you not coming here. But it's unfair to bring someone, to have someone commit to you under false pretenses. Let someone know the full picture, and if they're going to choose you, then that is what it's going to be. I just feel like when you do things this way, I feel like TJ did that to Kimberly. I know that's a very controversial couple in Before the 90 Days or the other way. But it's not okay to deceive someone. No matter how small you think the deception is, it's just so offensive to whatever you've built. It's just, you don't do that. So Sam is telling her, he was like, I was afraid that if I told you beforehand, you wouldn't come. And so I wanted to just, have this conversation in person. And she's like, you made a liar out of me because she's like, I've been patient with you through all of this, through all of your troubles, and for you to not tell me the complete truth about it is wrong because then I vouched for you with my father and I lied to him because you lied to me. So it's a chain reaction. And so Sam's stance is, I want to know that you are going to stick by me even if your father is against it. And I am like, and when he said that, I was like, this is a huge gamble that you're taking, especially because of her background. She's so by the book in terms of her faith, in terms of the way that she respects herself and her family. And I don't know if that's a kind of compromise that she would do. A part of me is like, maybe she will because she's already here and she loves him and, like they're starting over. But she's very angry and rightfully so. But there's also the chance that if her dad is like, let's go, she may go. And she's visibly just upset. She's angry. She's just like, I've been so patient with everything that had to do with this arrest. And I'm sure all of that was already very like testy to tell her family, right? You can tell that she's really just disappointed because, like I said, in all of this, she is somewhat also disappointing her father and having to relay this information. And next week, we're going to see that conversation, and I can't wait. And honestly, if I were them, I would be scared. Let me know what you think about how Sam handled it. Do you think that he did the right thing by not telling Citra beforehand? Do you think that she overreacted or underreacted? Let me know. I personally think Sam does love Citra and she loves him, but I do think that he downplayed the severity of his past and present issues. I also don't think that he has fully grasped what converting to Islam really means. So I would also like to know your thoughts on that. I don't know, you guys. I mean, these two have a really tough setup this season, but I kind of believe in them as long as he doesn't go to jail. I look forward to reading all your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.